So for those of you listening right now, my name is Dan Rubright, the Director of Community Relations for St. Louis Classical Guitar, and it is my honor and privilege to be with David Leisner, an incredible musician, guitarist, composer, author, educator, um, who has traveled all over the world. And we are so lucky that he will be performing in St. Louis on October the 18th at 7:30 at Salem Methodist Church. And I've just got a few questions for you today, just to let people around here get to know you maybe just a little bit better.
Great.
So you've been to St. Louis before. Does anything stick out for you about your past performances here?
Well, the last time I was there with Michael Kelly, the baritone, doing the complete Die Schöne Müllerin by Franz Schubert. And I remember that I came on stage without shoes in my socks, which was on purpose because I was using an iPad with a page turner, and I thought especially for that piece it really needed quiet page turns, so I decided to come out on stage almost barefoot, but not quite. I had socks on anyway. It was kind of interesting.
Okay, that definitely sticks out. Wonderful. So let's talk a little bit about the pieces you've chosen for this concert. Can you tell us a little bit about them and why you chose them?
Well, the program is centered on folk music, actually. The theme is folk music. Other than the opening two pieces by Bach from different lute suites, um, which act sort of as a blessing on the proceedings. And then I launch into pieces that are related in some way to folk music. One of them is the John Duart English Suite, clearly based on English folk songs. Then there are three Schubert songs, which are very folk music-like. So much of Schubert, especially early Schubert, is very much like folk music, and even the themes of the songs are very similar to themes of a lot of folk songs. Um, and then let's see, then I play a piece of my own, the third Freedom Fantasy, which is the Freedom Fantasies are all based on African American spirituals. This one is based on Oh Freedom. Um, and so that's that one. And then there's a piece by Richard Winslow, who was my teacher at Wesleyan University a zillion years ago. And he wrote this piece for me called Variations on a Tune of Stephen Foster. And Stephen Foster wrote the equivalent of folk songs, and it certainly has
Right.
become folk music over time. This one is the great tune, Hard Times Come Again No More. I'll tell a story about this piece. It's quite an interesting story when in the concert, but it's an amazing piece. I think it's a masterpiece, and it ends with an interesting surprise and a moving one.
That's wonderful.
And the last piece in the program is the Johann Caspar Mertz's Hungarian Fantasy, which is based on Hungarian stuff, folk melodies and rhythms, Hungarian rhythms, and imitation of hammered dulcimer, the cymbalum, is a Hungarian instrument, and so on and so forth. It's as I'm sure a lot of your viewers and listeners know, it's a rousing piece and an important piece in the guitar repertoire.
That's wonderful. I've got a question. When in your musical journey did you realize you loved composing?
Oh, that was pretty early on. When I started, I was a late starter. I started at 10 years old, and I was playing folk music, particularly folk music from countries around the world. So I sang folk songs in many different languages. And then I gravitated to contemporary folk music, pop stuff in the tradition of James Taylor, Joni Mitchell, Laura Nyro, etc. And very soon after that, which was age 15, I was writing my own songs. So that was my first instinct to write. And the more that I gravitated towards classical music, which was quite late actually, not seriously until I was 17. And at that point, my interest in composing switched to writing classical type music. So at first for guitar and then for all instruments, including orchestra. So,
Wonderful.
yeah.
Did you always have a sense that you were going to be an artist of some type, or how did that journey happen?
Yeah, I did really. Since age 13, I remember knowing at age 13 I was going to be a musician. I didn't know what, but I knew I was going to be a musician. Um, Pretty soon after that, I was singing in choirs quite a bit, some serious smaller groups like madrigal groups and so on. In high school, we had a phenomenal choral conductor in high school. And for quite a while, I wasn't sure whether I was going to head towards guitar playing or choral conducting. And I think after my first year or so at college, I pretty much decided I was headed towards guitar playing.
Wonderful. So here's a question. You brought up college. Um, what are two pieces of advice that you would give to your 22-year-old self?
Well, first and foremost, I think is don't take yourself too seriously. Yeah. I mean, we all have different personalities and so on, but I think most of us in our early 20s take ourselves quite seriously, and that's partly a good thing and partly something to look out for because the rest of the world often doesn't take you all that seriously. So
Yeah.
it's good to kind of be in the world with a little bit of a sense of humor and a sense of, maybe there's other kinds of possibilities of doing things out there, and there isn't only one way. So lighten up is what I would have told myself at age 22.
Nice.
um and what else? Um yeah, I had done a little thinking about this before, but I don't quite remember what the other thing I had in mind was.
That's okay.
Yeah,
It might slip in, it might not. That's fine.
if I remember before we're done, I'll bring it back.
No, that's cool. So, can you tell us something fun about yourself that our audience might not know about you?
Yeah, uh, there was a fun thing that happened to me recently. I was walking in Williamsburg in Brooklyn, um, with my husband, and we were walking hand in hand. And this guy comes up to us with an iPhone, and he zooms in on us and he says, "Excuse me, are you guys a couple?" We said, "Yeah," like thinking, "Well, who the hell are you?"
Yeah.
And well, he proceeded to interview us about how we met and so on, and it was really quite a wonderful and very short interview. Well, turns out these guys that do this are from a thing called Meet Cutes. And
Oh,
Meet Cutes, you have some recognition.
yeah, right.
Meet Cutes is a thing on TikTok,
Right.
Instagram, YouTube, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
yeah.
Well, this little few minute interview there that was edited down, in fact, has gotten us, I think it's now 2.7 million
Oh my
views.
gosh.
That's on Instagram. That is not even TikTok, and which is another million or something. I don't
That's
know.
amazing.
So I'm really more famous now for this little interview than I am for being a guitarist and composer.
I love that. That's terrific. Well, listen, thank you so much for taking the time to answer some of these questions. I know that I'm even more excited to see you in person. It's going to be an amazing show. So thank you. And we will look forward to seeing you in person a week from this Saturday on October the 18th, 7:30 at Salem Methodist Church.
Thanks so much. I'm really looking forward to playing for you all.
Thank you so much, David.
See you then.
Take care.
Bye.